El Qassem Sadallah, Argélia, e mestrado em literatura inglesa pela Universidade da Jordânia. É professora associada do Departamento de Letras em Inglês na Universidade 8 de Maio de 1945, em Guelma, Argélia, ministrando cursos de bacharelado, mestrado e doutorado. Doutora Benjamin foi acadêmica convidada da Fulbright na Universidade de Illinois, Edwardsville, nos Estados Unidos, de 2015 a 2016, tendo ensinado árabe e ensino de língua inglesa como segunda língua, escrita criativa, teoria literária e outras áreas relacionadas. Também foi acadêmica visitante na Universidade de Pitești, România, em 2022, para a pesquisa do seu pós-doutorado. Suas pesquisas têm um foco em teorias literárias, literatura mundial contemporânea, ecocrítica, feminismo e literatura árabe pós-colonial africana e árabe. Ou melhor, feminismo e literatura pós-colonial africana e árabe, e ensino de inglês como língua estrangeira. Ela publicou artigos em revistas acadêmicas sobre esses tópicos assim. A doutora Benjamin, ela organizou também e participou de eventos universitários culturais e científicos e contribuiu com projetos de pesquisa. Entre eles, eu gostaria de citar o projeto SNEPRO, sobre atitudes culturais, de 2015 a 2018, e também o projeto Erasmus Elan, sobre ensino de língua inglesa em 2019 até 2022. Então, agora vamos assistir à palestra da doutora Paula.
Thank you. Obrigada. Thank you so much. I'll be starting. Can I just for a second? Give me a second, please. Just to fix something. Sorry. Sorry. Second, my laptop is going crazy. It's working. Here. Okay, so sorry for this. Let me start. So, Good morning, good afternoon, I mean. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Brigada and Obrigado. Thank you for joining me today. My presentation is entitled Ecocriticism and the Role of Technology in Shaping Environmental Justice and Social Inclusion, a study of Bessie heads when rain clouds gather. So I tried to provide the Portuguese translation to each idea that I'm going to share with you today. So, my presentation is based on my paper, the analyzing Bessie Head's 1968 novel through an eco-critical lens. We'll explore how technology empowers marginalized communities in a post-colonial African setting. As an introduction, to start with the first introduction, moving into the introduction, as I said, Bessie Head's When Rain Clouds Gather is a key work in post-colonial African literature, blending themes of environmental justice, social inclusion, and technological innovation. The novel is set in the drought-prone village of Golema Memedi in rural Botswana, an African country, a name that translates to grow crops, as Head notes in page 11 here. So this village becomes a haven for exiles, outcasts, and marginalized people uniting against colonial oppression and environmental degradation. Central characters include Makaya, a South African refugee fleeing apartheid's dehumanizing structures, and Gilbert Belfour, an English agriculturalist who brings expertise in sustainable farming. Through an eco-critical lens, we will see how Head, the writer, uses cooperative farming and sustainable techniques to empower these subaltern communities, restore ecological balance, and foster social cohesion. The paper that I'm presenting today argues that Head critiques colonial and tribal hierarchies while anticipating contemporary environmental justice ideas. Technology here is not destructive, it is a tool for dismantling oppression, equitable resource distribution, and harmony between humans and nature. For example, Head describes Gulema Mimdi as a place where individuals who had fled there to escape the tragedies of life, page 11, come together, highlighting intersectional oppression as per Hagen and Tiffin's postcolonial eco-criticism. This aligns with Rob Nixon's slow violence, which means gradual environmental harm from colonial legacies like overgazing. We will explore how this community resists through sustainable technology. This is for the translation. Now, let's delve into eco-criticism in post-colonial contexts. This title. So, eco-criticism, and I have the key points here, both in English and in Portuguese. For eco-criticism, as defined by Cheryl Glotfelty, it explores the relationship between literature and the physical environment. In post-colonial literature, it reveals how colonial exploitation has degraded both ecosystems and human communities. In the novel, When Rain Clouds Gather, the arid landscape of Golema Mimdi symbolizes the scars of colonial resource extraction, where traditional farming has been undermined by unsustainable practices. Graham Hagen and Helen Tiffin argue argue that post-colonial eco-criticism addresses the inseparable link between environmental degradation and social injustice. Head's narrative embodies this by portraying Golima Mimdi as a haven for exiles, rejecting colonial hierarchies and restoring the land's vitality. Take Makaya's arrival, for example. He sees a vast expanse of sand and scrub, but somehow bewitchingly beautiful. And I quote from the novel from page 8, mirroring his loneliness and the land's desolation, a post colonial scar. This evokes actually Nixon's slow violence, where harm persists invisibly, excluding refugees like him. Yet, the beauty, I
Hi.
Hi, Zilia.
It's
I'm
better
sorry for
now.
this.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sorry myself. I'm sorry for you.
it's
But don't
okay.
worry, let's record this. You can start. I'm going to record everything for the YouTube. No
Yeah.
problem.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes,
Perfect.
I can.
Perfect.
Hmm. Please, Professor, go on.
Let's start.
Yes,
Perfect.
please go on.
Okay. So now I cannot see like this. Give me
And
a
you
second.
know, go on in English, and it will be fine.
Yeah, and I have the translations in Portuguese in my PPT.
Yes, yes, people can read. Yeah.
Good, good. So I will start. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My title is Ecocriticism and the Role of Technology in Shaping Environmental Justice and Social Inclusion, a study of Bessie Heads when rain clouds gather. And you will see the Portuguese translation of my presentation as I go on. So, um, I was thanking you for joining me today. And I want to tell you that this presentation is based on my paper analyzing Bessie Head's 1968 novel through an eco-critical lens. We will explore how technology empowers marginalized communities in a post colonial African setting. Yes. Moving into the introduction, Bessie had, and I have some points here in English and in Portuguese. So, Bessie Heads When Rain Clouds Gather is the key work in post colonial African literature, blending themes of environmental justice, social inclusion, and technological innovation. The novel is set in the drought-prone village of Golima Midi in rural Botswana, an African country, a name that translates to grow crops, as head notes on page 11. This village is, or sorry, becomes. Yes, the translation is there. This village becomes a haven for exiles, outcasts, and marginalized people uniting against colonial oppression and environmental degradation. Central characters include Makaya, a South African refugee, fleeing apartheid's dehumanizing structures, and Gilbert Belfort, an English agriculturalist who brings expertise in structures, in sustainable farming. Sorry. Through an eco-critical lens, we'll see how HEAD uses cooperative farming and sustainable techniques to empower these subaltern communities, restore ecological balance, and foster social cohesion. The paper argues that HEAD critiques colonial and tribal hierarchies while anticipating contemporary environmental justice ideas. Technology here is not destructive. It is a tool for dismantling oppression, equitable resource distribution, and harmony between humans and nature. For example, Head describes Gulima Mindi as a place where individuals who had fled there to escape the tragedies of life, page 11, come together, how these people come together, highlighting intersectional oppression as per Hagen and Tiffin's post-colonial eco-criticism. This aligns with Rob Nixon's slow violence, the idea of gradual environmental harm from colonial legacies like overgazing. We will explore how this community resists through sustainable technology. Now, let's delve into eco-criticism in post-colonial contexts. Eco-criticism, as defined by Cheryl Glotfelty, explores the relationship between literature and the physical environment. In post-colonial literature, it reveals how colonial exploitation has degraded both ecosystems and human communities. In When Rain Clouds Gather, the arid landscape of Golima Mimdi symbolizes the scars of colonial resource extraction, where traditional farming has been undermined by unsustainable practices. Graham Hagen and Helen Tiffin argue that post-colonial eco-criticism addresses the inseparable link between environmental degradation and social injustice. Head's narrative embodies this by portraying Golima Mdi as a haven for exiles, rejecting colonial hierarchies and restoring the land's vitality. Take Makaya's arrival. He sees a vast expanse of sand and scrub, somehow bewitchingly beautiful, mirroring his loneliness and the land's desolation, a post-colonial scar. This evokes Nixon's slow violence, where harm persists invisibly, excluding refugees like him. Yet, the beauty signals renewal, per Hagen and Tiffin. Another example, the village's history of 400 people leading to resource strain shows colonial disruptions forcing people into marginal lands. As Buell notes, environmental degradation stems from systematic injustice. Here, eco-criticism shows the land as an active agent in resistance. To ground this, let us look at key characters and their eco-critical roles. Through an eco-critical lens, Makaya, fleeing apartheid, embodies human nature interconnectedness. His view of the landscape as bewitchingly beautiful despite its barrenness blends personal with Glotfelter's framework. He evolves by embracing sustainable practices to heal himself and the land. Gilbert Balfour with his agricultural diploma, catalyzes change by introducing drought-resistant crops and fencing. Head says he returned to Botswana to place his knowledge at the service of the country, positioning technology as a post-colonial justice tool. Paulina Sibeso represents resilient women leading in tobacco cooperatives and water dams, challenges patriarchal norms. Finally, Chief Matenji symbolizes oppressive hierarchies with his long, gloomy, melancholy, suspicious face, resisting progress and embodying anthropocentric exploitation. These characters drive the narrative's critique of colonialism and advocacy for inclusion. Transitioning to technology's role now, in the novel, with this title, Technology as a Catalyst for Environmental Justice. So in the novel, technology is reimagined as cooperative systems empowering the community. Gilbert introduces drought-resistant millet, fencing, and water dams to combat degradation. For instance, millet could produce a crop in only 3 inches of rain and resist witchweed, mitigating drought and erosion. This aligns with Hagen and Tiffin's view of countering degradation and injustice. Nixon's reclaiming the material and cultural commons is seen in restoring productivity for equitable distribution. Gilbert's fencing over 2 seasons, Eragrositis grass regenerates, crowding out invasives. Page 19. Through Buell's lens, this heals colonial wounds. Technology here is not exploitative, it is justice-oriented, transforming Golema Memdi into a resistance site. For now, critiquing anthropocentric attitudes, and I have some ideas here. The novel critiques anthropocentric attitudes prioritizing profit over balance. Mantage, the epitome of this darkness, opposes cooperatives refusing sustainability. His mindset exploits nature per Buell. In contrast, the cooperative revives dormant growth. And I quote here, had all this strange new growth lain dormant for years, when the whole area had been clothed by waste, high grass. This counters Nixon's slow violence from colonial overgrazing, showing technology promotes justice by healing the land. Now, for social inclusion via cooperative labor, the model unites diverse characters, exiles, women, outcasts in collective work. Women, traditionally the backbone of agriculture, are central. Gilbert empowers them, aligning with ecofeminism. Paulina leads the women will grow it as they have never worked for money before. And I quote, this is from Head 63. This disrupts patriarchy, giving economic power, racial inclusion. For racial inclusion, for example, Makaya and Gilbert bond over nature's resilience, like Botswana goats turning dry paper into meat. She into meat, bridging divides per Hagen and Tiffin. Outcasts like Mami Lipidi gain voice. She builds coops on Gilbert's advice, prioritizing community agency. The cooperative ensures fair prices, promoting equity. For racial and cultural inclusivity, I would like to note the idea that the novel promotes racial and cultural inclusivity. Micaiah and Gilbert's partnership transcends divides. The laughter of the goats shows shared wonder, fostering solidarity in environmental struggle. This challenges Micaiah's past. I see no man's land of prejudice, creating a united community. Had critiques colonial and tribal hierarchies perpetuating injustice. Matinge's resistance, for example, reflects control over progress. Tribalism is meat and drink to them, and I quote, undermining inclusion. His panic over cooperatives exposes exploitation. In contrast, Chief Sikotos swims with the outgoing tide, accepting change. Villagers' action, like questioning Gilbert but seeing regeneration, dismantles rumors and hierarchies per Nixon and Hagen and Tiffin in page 10. This shows agency in transformation. I'm sorry for these. The slides that in Portuguese are not working with these ideas, but I do have them. Yes, so focusing on resilience, sustainable tech like dams, fencing, and fencing builds it. Dams, a man digs wells, then learns about rainwater dams. Mitigating drought, controlled grazing, not more than 200 cattle on 7,000 acres, prevents erosion. During drought, Gilbert sees opportunity in experiments, adapting strategically. Communal systems bring cattle and crop production together, prioritizing collective solutions. Grass regeneration counters slow violence in this case. So ecofeminism also is key. Women as agriculturalists are critiqued for patriarchal exclusion. Lecture rooms open to men only, page 17 in the novel, per Warren. Paulina mobilizes for crash crops. Marina innovates domestically with curry powder, showing land connection. Isaac's death from malnutrition highlights impacts on women and children as well. This ties gender liberation to justice. And there are lots of examples that from the novel that do approve this same idea. So the novel anticipates modern discourses, pillows transformative practices in cooperatives, empower futures, adoption of millet dams, mitigates stressors. The land becomes a garden with regenerated grasses, evoking harmony. Gilbert's fencing plans anticipate systematic change, reimagining Africa as abundant. As a conclusion, Bessie Head's When Rain Clouds Gather is a visionary text weaving eco-critical, post-colonial, and eco-feminist perspectives. Through Golima Mimdi's cooperative, Head critiques hierarchies, perpetuating degradation and marginalization, offering hope via resilience and equity. The transformation symbolizes restoration and inclusion, transcending divides. It anticipates justice discourses, emphasizing distribution, empowerment, and management. Furthermore, it comments on the human condition. Liberation ties to stewardship, rejecting colonial exploitation for communal development. By viewing technology as empowerment, which is an idea opposite or strange to so many other writers. So, by viewing technology as empowerment, Head inspires a world of mutual respect. As characters forge ahead, they embody hope for overcoming oppression toward abundance, equity, and balance. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. I want to congratulate you for your wonderful presentation and especially for your effort to translate the crucial passages in your work.
Thank you so
I
much.
want you to know, and I think that everybody's going to be committed with your presentation because it has so many things related to our own reality. So I think that this reality is common to the entire global south. Therefore, you introduce a method of how to approach literature and how to approach works in which these realities are pronounced. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. And I'm so sorry about these technical problems, but it's natural that it happens.
Yes,
And
yes.
the platform is the first time that we are using, and we are paying attention to so many things together, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.